A woman's history doesn't come out in straightforward answers. It shows up in the small glitches, in how she flinches when the silence lasts too long, in how she overreacts to quiet moments or disappears when the connection deepens. Most men overlook this. They try to understand her past by asking, by pressing, by speaking too much. But a Stoic man doesn't rely on conversation. He remains still. He lets her past replay in her behavior. Each reaction, every pause, every emotional shift says more than her words ever could. This is how you come to understand her story, without ever needing to ask. First, pay attention to how she acts, not what she says. The second you ask, what's your relationship history, you lose something more meaningful than information. You lose her trust in your stillness. Stoic men don't pry, they observe. And they understand that her past is not in her storytelling, it's in her physical responses. Notice how she reacts when your tone changes. Watch how uneasy she gets when you go silent. See how her body language shifts when loyalty, cheating, or emotional wounds are mentioned. That tension, that's her unspoken past making itself known. You don't need her to explain. Her nervous system remembers what her words won't admit. Stoicism teaches this. Let people show you who they are. All you need is patience. Ask yourself this: does she go out of her way to make you happy? That's not just kindness. That might be a wound from rejection. Does she retreat when you offer affection? That's not mystery. That's fear of closeness. Does she emphasize her independence? Maybe she had to become that way after depending on someone who failed her. The truth is in her patterns. It's in how she apologizes too much, in how she hesitates when you compliment her, in how she laughs but checks your reaction to see if it was okay. Her past bleeds through the small cracks. All you need to do is stay quiet long enough to notice. Most men don't. They wait for verbal cues. But the Stoic man listens to discomfort, because what she avoids says everything. If you want to know if she's been hurt, look at how she responds. When you delay texting her back, watch her when you take up space without asking. Observe her when she isn't in control. A woman who's still carrying past pain doesn't need to retell it. She lives it every day. And when you bring calm into her chaos, her reactions tell you the full story. You don't need to pry. Just observe what triggers her anxiety and what brings her peace. That's how you learn quietly, with strength, without a single question. Second, she reveals everything when she thinks no one is listening. She's not hiding the truth. She's just learned how to share it subtly. If you're too busy filling the silence with your voice, you'll miss the moment she drops the most honest part of her story, like a feather in traffic. Women don't confess when you push. They open up when you don't. In the middle of an everyday story, maybe about a childhood friend, in between a laugh, she casually say, "Yeah, I don't really trust people that way anymore," or "I just got used to handling things alone." And then she'll move on, switch topics, smile like it was nothing, but that was everything. That line held her entire emotional truth, given to you without fanfare. She wasn't testing you. She was opening a small door to see if you'd notice. Most men don't. They rush to comfort her, or they shift focus to themselves, or they try to solve her pain. That moment is lost, because now she knows you weren't strong enough to simply hold her truth in silence. But the Stoic man doesn't interrupt, doesn't react too quickly. He listens. He lets the weight of her words sit in the space she left them. He understands that a woman's unguarded truth shows up when she feels safe, not when she's questioned. She might talk about a man who vanished on her, but say it lightly, joking about how ghosting is normal now. She may mention her dad walking out when her mum cried, but only while explaining how she avoids conflict. She won't say, "I was abandoned." She'll say, "Depending on people feels risky." That's your window. That's her entire history slipped out without intention. And because it slipped, it's real. What should you do with it? You hold it. You file it away silently. Let it guide how you treat her, but never use it against her. Never throw it back. Don't even mention it unless she does. Because when she realizes you picked up on what she never meant to reveal, you become magnetically attractive. Not because you're empathetic, but because you're tuned in. That emotional awareness makes her feel seen in a way she's never felt before, and that makes her want to keep opening up, not because you asked, but because you earned her trust. That's what separates a Stoic man from the rest. He doesn't chase after her story. He lets it surface. He knows that the moment she stops performing is the moment she starts telling the truth. And once she does, he not only understands her past, he earns her trust. Third, if you really want to know her past, observe her during conflict. You won't truly meet a woman at dinner. You'll meet her in the moments between texts. You'll meet her in her anger, in her triggered responses, in how she handles things when they don't go her way, because conflict, not comfort, is where her history rises. Anyone can remain graceful when things are calm, but when emotions are tested, the past resurfaces. Want to know if she felt abandoned? See how she responds when you take a few hours for yourself. Does she spiral? Does she withdraw? Lash out? That's not about you. It's about the one who left her first. Want to know if she was emotionally manipulated? Pay attention during confrontation. If she shuts down, redirects the conversation, or turns your calm truth into an attack, she's not reacting to you. She's reacting to the man who twisted honesty into harm. He's not present, but you're now standing in his shadow. This is the awareness a Stoic man carries. Her reactions aren't just about now, they're echoes from her past. Echoes of voices she no longer names, of moments she may not even remember, but her body still does. You don't have to ask what she's been through. She's already telling you in how she argues, in how she apologizes, in how she avoids emotional depth. She's telling you in the way she seizes control before she feels exposed, in how she tests your love before she trusts it. That's not just her personality, that's self-protection. And if you're wise, you won't take it personally, you'll witness it. Because conflict doesn't just expose wounds, it reveals everything. It shows how she handles being challenged. Whether she was taught to shut down or speak up, whether she connects or disconnects. And most importantly, it shows how she views you. Not the idealized version, not the fantasy, but the figure onto whom she's projecting her old fears. That's powerful insight, if you're grounded enough to receive it. Most men either shut down or retaliate. The Stoic man stays calm. He hears the wound behind the words. He doesn't respond to her scream. He hears what her past is really saying. Please don't leave me first. That's when her entire emotional map unfolds. And you didn't have to ask, or dig, or press. You just stayed steady while she unraveled in that silence. You didn't just understand her past. You gained her respect, because the moment she realizes you're not afraid of her storm, she stops trying to hide it. She starts offering the parts of herself no one else stayed long enough to see. You won't find her truth in her words. You'll find it in the things she avoids, in the quiet between her thoughts, in how she subtly challenges your calm just to see if you'll break like someone else once did. Her reactions aren't just emotional, they're memories in disguise, and when you observe instead of react, you become the first man who doesn't just feel safe, you become unforgettable, because every man before you tried to fix her, you didn't. You simply saw her, and that's what she remembered, not the things you said, but the moment she realized you already understood without her needing to say a single word.